If your child melts down hard and fast, it's not an attitude, it's their brain crying out for help. So, what exactly is a volatile brain? Because some kids, and hello, some adults have a highly reactive brain that overreacts quickly and disproportionately to the stress or even just a simple change. These are kids that the littlest change or difficulty or a bit of frustration causes big reactions. And what's different about a brain that's highly volatile and easily dysregulated is that it can't return to calm after an emotional activation within a half an hour max. These are kids that have very long episodes of dysregulation. It's often misunderstood as defiance, manipulation, being moody. Not that being moody can't be a part of this. And some kids with mood disorders and other clinical issues have big reactions to things and certainly have dysregulated nervous systems. But they're not just being moody, they're dysregulated, and that volatility is behind it. So, what's happening in a brain that's experiencing this volatility, this extreme dysregulation? So, first of all, our emotional center, our amygdala, is overreacting. It's constantly scanning for danger when you're in a sympathetic dominant state, fight, flight, or freeze. It's that warrior going out there and looking for something. You can't react. That's what hypervigilance is. You can't not react, excuse me. And our prefrontal cortex, which is our braking system, it's responsible for logic, reasoning, self-control, goes offline. Why? Because if it needs to react, it's going to react quickly. Now remember, it's being triggered. We don't have to understand those triggers. We want to figure out what's causing it, but our body is moving into this warrior state, this sympathetic dominant state. And what happens to the neurotransmitters? So your dopamine is going to dysregulate, and that's going to affect your attention. It's going to affect your mood. Serotonin, which is another feel-good brain neurotransmitter, becomes low. That's going to also affect your mood, but it's going to affect your impulse control. Remember, serotonin is almost exclusively created in the gut. So there is a connection between our gut, right, through our vagus nerve and our brain, and that bidirectional highway is off. And stress will even just alone break down our gut. So this creates a cascade of problems. And then our cortisol, which is a stress hormone, is going to flood our brain. That's going to increase our reactivity. It's what jacks us up. It's what, when you see a mother where their kid is under a car and they're able to pick up a car, that's cortisol jacking up. So here we have a 5-year-old, a 15-year-old, 25-year-old, and their brain is in this sympathetic dominant state. All these things are happening because they're shifting to flight, fight, or freeze or fawn, and that's going to bypass a rational response. They've lost the ability to be rational. So what are some common signs of this volatile brain? So those explosive reaction over minor frustrations, those sudden aggression, or on the other side, withdrawal, right? Because we have over and understimulated behaviors, difficulty calming down. We have that potentially a Jekyll and Hyde, Bruce Banner and the Hulk kind of behavior that we're really perplexed by, and just overreaction to small things, sensory behaviors, perceived threats. Because when you're in this state, you're seeing things as a threat. So you get these really ridiculous reaction. And just know that a person who's in this state isn't choosing chaos. They're overwhelmed by it. They see everything as that. Until we regulate the brain, we won't see calm behavior. So what triggers some of this volatility, right? So chronic stress or trauma, right? Neurodevelopmental conditions, our nervous systems can be more activated, like ADHD, OCD, autism. OCD is a neurodevelopmental condition, but mental health conditions, things like infections and toxins that lead to PANS and PANDAS, Poor sleep. Do you know that in as little as 5 days of no sleep, you can have psychosis? I mean, talk to a woman in menopause who's not sleeping. You feel on edge, you feel very volatile. Poor diet can lead to sugar crashes, sensory overload, and birth trauma that lead to brain injury or any kind of brain injury can cause these extremes in behaviors. I remember this kid in college and he was like really chill. And then when he would drink, he would act like a maniac. And I mean that in every sense of the word. Like I was like, who is this person? And then he told us that he was in a psych hospital after like an accident, a car accident for a year. And this was like he was coming to college after this. So that alcohol must have caused some inflammation, obviously affects your neurotransmitters. I mean, that's an extreme example, but he was not the same person. He didn't make it. He went back home. And hopefully he got the help that he needed. Maybe he listens to the show. But what helps to calm a volatile brain, regardless of the source? So daily regulation routines, of course. So not just reactionary strategies, but using tools on the regular, right? Things like vagus nerve activation, right? So some of that humming we talked about, cold water, different physical movements. Breath work activates your parasympathetic vagus nerve. Nutritional supplements like magnesium, right there, omegas, different forms of amino acids that you could work with your practitioner. If you're interested in working with me, you can go to drroseann.com/help. It's a 3-minute solution matcher that's going to match you to the right regulation tool for exactly where you're at. Of course, you're going to get awesome information every week. If you're interested in working with me, you can go to drroseann.com/help. It's a 3-minute solution map. Our Calm PEMF is designed to pull you in a parasympathetic state. It changes the way the cells are working and it reduces inflammation. It's pretty awesome. I don't know why I don't have it on right now. But I'll use it today because you know what activates me? Lights. So I know that I have to regulate myself. And of course, what helps calm a volatile brain? The C in our comms protocol, co-regulation. Every parent, every caregiver, every aunt and uncle, teacher has the power to help a kid regulate when they're feeling unsafe just through their voice, their body language, hugging, whatever. It's there. You can really become that emotional anchor, right? And just know that volatility is a sign of dysregulation, does not reflect bad parenting or quote unquote bad child. There are no bad children. There are only children who are dysregulating, screaming for help. And when we use proactive regulation strategies for ourselves and these kids, we all can regulate.